let's bring in our legal guys, Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor, and criminal defense attorney Richard Herman. Good to see you both. All right, so
good to
Richard,
see you, Frederica.
Great. So, Richard, you first. So how does the confession from one of the witnesses potentially impact this case? Does it mean mistrial potentially?
It's not a mistrial, Fred. It goes to the credibility of the testimony, and the judge will instruct the jurors at the end of the trial that just because a witness testifies to something under oath, it's up to you to determine whether or not that testimony is credible and believable. And for that, there's no magic formula. You rely on your everyday experiences in life. And what the prosecution is going to argue is that with respect to this particular witness, we worked with him, we sat with him, we listened to his story over and over again, and then we gave him immunity, and at not one time did he ever tell us this version of events. So they're going to attack his credibility, and Fred, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, and there are a lot of servicemen, active servicemen on this jury, and the attorney Tim Parlatore is a friend of mine from New York, and he's doing an incredible job here, busting up witnesses and their credibility and their recollection. And the problem, Fred, is that in military trials, there's no prosecutorial discretion to do anything, to plead down, to do anything. They either take the deal or take a verdict. It's black and white, and that's what's horrible here, because any other court, there would have been a deal based on this brilliant cross-examination.
All right, so Richard?
Yeah, Fred, the problem here is this. This is not just a prisoner. This is a terrorist. It's an ISIS terrorist, even though he's 15 years old. And he was hit by 2 Hellfire missiles. His life expectancy at this point was probably 30 minutes. There was no helicopter on the way for him, because there's no funding for that. So his future was not looking too good there. You have the testimony of the medic saying he put his finger over the trach and asphyxiated him as a mercy killing. If a jury believes that, that's reasonable doubt there, Fred. As far as the shooting into the crowd, there is testimony that other SEALs in the crowd were shooting, but they say they were shooting in the air. Gallagher was perched in a booth in a sniper station off to the side. He didn't know that. There was nothing going on in his ear saying we're doing warning shots here. And there's no one to say they saw him pull the trigger on the rifle. Fred, all I'm saying is they're punching holes in the prosecution's case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt the burden of proof. And you have a lot of active military on this jury, which I think bodes well for the defense.
That was a day
all they did, Fred, was ask to be able to treat him as a hostile witness, be able to lead him with questioning. And if it's determined that he lied, and he lied to the government, all the other charges will be brought back, and he'll be charged with perjury. So he has a lot to lose.
All right, gentlemen. Always a pleasure seeing you, no matter what the case is.
Pleasure.
All right, Richard, Avery, have a great weekend.